Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Mangesh Doshi and this is the fifth lecture of IR spectroscopy. Up to now we have completed introduction to the IR spectroscopy, various principles of the IR spectroscopy, then various frequencies for the various function groups, absorptions, stretching frequencies, bending frequencies for the various function groups we have learned. Then in last lectures we have seen the factors affecting the absorption frequencies. In this lecture, we will learn applications of IR spectroscopy and we will solve some problems. First, we will start with the applications of spectroscopy. Friends, the spectroscopy is a physical method for the elucidation of the structure of the organic compounds. So, main purpose of the spectroscopical methods to identify the structure of the compounds, to identify what are the functions, what are the elements present in the compound. So that is the main purpose. So application of the IR spectroscopy is also said, that is determination of the structure of the molecule. So by using this IR spectroscopy, we can find out which are the function groups which are present into the molecule. This IR spectroscopy is classified into three regions and each region gives a particular information about the molecule structure. In function group region, the observation of peaks in function group region will help us to detect the function group present into the molecule. What are the function group present into the molecule? If the peaks are shifted towards the some higher or lower side than expected values, indicates that the presence of some inductive, resonance effect, steric effects or ring strain into the molecule. If compound contains only one oxygen and if the peaks is around 1680 cm or 1690 cm inverse, the most probably it is alpha beta unsaturated ketone. It is alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So in this way, the function group region is used for the identification of the which are the function group present in the molecule. Suppose peak is at 2100 cm inverse, then our compound must be contain carbon-carbon triple bond. If our peaks are near about 1650 to 1640, then our compound must be contain some double bonded carbon-carbon double bond compound. So in this way, from this function group region, we can identify the function groups. If these peaks are shifted from lower to higher side somewhat, then we conclude that our compound must be contain either inductive effect, resonance effect or steric effect groups. So in this way, the function group region gives us the idea of function group which are present into the molecule. Second region is a fingerprint region. The peaks in this region are very characteristic of the molecule. No two different molecules have a same identical spectra in this region. So it's like a fingerprints of the human being. No two persons having the same fingerprints. That's why this region also having the name is fingerprint region. So there are no two different molecules can have identical spectra in this region. If they have, then those two molecules must be one and the same. Thus, for comparing the IR spectrum, this fingerprint region is used for identification of the known compound and unknown compound. Suppose in forensic sciences, कोणीतरी एखादं पॉयझन घेतलं, कोणतं पॉयझन घेतलं, मग त्याचा IR स्पेक्ट्रम काढलं आणि नोन जे पॉयझन्स असतात त्यांच्या IR स्पेक्ट्रम बरोबर मॅच केलं. सो वी विल अंडरस्टँड दॅट इफ द टू IR स्पेक्ट्रम आर मॅचेस, then those two poisons are same. So in this way we can identify the what are the poisons is present into the body of that particular person. So in this way this is useful for the identification or comparing the data. Then third region is the aromatic region. The CH bending vibrations in this region helps to know the substitution pattern into the organic compounds. So all the CH bending vibrations, what are the aromatic CH bending vibrations that occur in this aromatic region. If there are peaks into this region, then we conclude that your compound contains aromatic rings. And by seeing the pattern of these peaks into aromatic region, we come to know that what is the substitution pattern, either mono substituted or di substituted. If di substituted, that is ortho substituted, meta substituted or para substituted. So all these informations we are getting from this aromatic region. The next application of IR spectroscopy is study of progress of chemical reactions. In research laboratory, in academic laboratory or industry, we are doing so many reactions, so many conversions from one molecule to another molecule. So most of the reactions are functional group interconvergence reactions. So in that case, this IR spectroscopy can be used for monitoring the reactions. The IR spectroscopy is on progress of chemical reactions to control the chemical reaction and to study the kinetics and various chemical reactions. These applications are based on the fact that most of the chemical reactions involves the change in the function group, and this helps to follow the course of chemical reactions. A sample of reaction mixture is withdrawn and IR spectrum is recorded. The spectrum is used to determine how far reaction is progressed, whether that proceeding by the expected path or not. So this IR spectroscopy can be useful for controlling the chemical reactions, to study the kinetics and to check whether our reaction is proceed or not. For example, the oxidation of cyclohexanol to cyclohexanone. So we have a cyclohexanol as a substrate, and if you are using some oxidizing reagent like K2Cr2O7H2SO4, then our expected reaction is a formation of ketone. If we are getting a peak at 35-50 cm inverse, means our cyclohexanol is still there. If you are getting only a peak at 17-10 cm inverse, that is for ketone. So our conversion of alcohol to ketone is completed. But if we are getting both peaks, then our reaction is still incomplete. So according to that, we can check the reactions proceeding or not, it is progressing or not, it is completed or not. So for monitoring the chemical reactions, we can use this spectral data, that is IR spectroscopy. Second example is the reduction of nitro group to the amino group. So nitro group on reduction gives amino. If nitro group having a IR spectroscopy around 1370 cm inverse and 1540 cm inverse, if those peaks are still there, it means our conversion is not happened. But these peaks are disappears and new peak is formed at 3300 cm inverse to 3500 cm inverse. It clearly indicates that nitro is completely converted into the aniline. So in this way, the IR spectroscopy is used to study the progress of chemical reaction. The third application is the detection of hydrogen bonding. The shifting of the functional group absorption frequencies, stretching frequencies towards the lower side or higher side, that can be useful for detection of the hydrogen bonding. In IR spectroscopy, we can distinguish between the intramolecular hydrogen bonding as well as intermolecular hydrogen bonding of the free OH. If free OH group appears at the higher frequency, that is normal frequency, that we know that 3500 cm inverse to 3600 cm inverse to 3650 cm inverse, while hydrogen bonded alcohols or phenols appears at the lower frequency, that is around 3500 cm inverse to 3200 cm inverse. If we are getting the peaks of the hydroxyl group at 3200 cm inverse to 3500 cm inverse, then our compound is hydrogen bonded. If not, then OH, free OH comes around 3600 cm inverse to 3650 cm inverse. In order to know whether alcohol contains intermolecular hydrogen bonding or intramolecular hydrogen bonding, so this can be also distinguished by using this IR spectroscopy. If we are if the given alcohol is dissolved in large excess of aprotic solvent, and if the hydrogen bonding is intermolecular, then due to this large excess of solvent, the space between molecules is occupied by the solvent molecule, and intermolecular hydrogen bonding will get disappears. Then our OH frequency shifts towards the higher side, that is up to 3600 cm inverse. Then we conclude that our compound was containing intermolecular was containing intermolecular hydrogen bonding. If after dilution also the stretching frequency is still over there only, that is 3200 centimeter inverse to 3500 centimeter inverse, then we conclude that our compound contains intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So in intramolecular hydrogen bonding, dilution effect is negligible. If OH stretching frequency remains unchanged even after dilution, the peak of hydrogen bonding should be intramolecular. So in this way, for the detection of hydrogen bonding, for the detection of either that is intermolecular hydrogen bonding or intramolecular hydrogen bonding, we can use this IR spectroscopy. Fourth application is the detection of size of ring of ketones. Determination of size of ring of ketones. So our ketones may be cycloheptanone, cyclohexanone, cyclopentanone, cyclopropanone, cyclobutanone. So we can assign, we can find out what is the ring size of that ketones also by using this IR spectroscopy. The ring size in cyclic ketone shifts the CO stretching frequency to the higher. As the ring strain is increases, the stretching frequency of the cyclic ketone is also increases. As ring strain increases, CO stretching frequency also increases, and this enables us to differentiate the ring size of the ketone. For example, cycloheptanone absorbs at 1705 cm inverse. Cyclohexanone absorbs at 1710 cm inverse. So as the ring size goes on decreasing, these values, stretching frequencies also goes on increasing. So cyclopentanone absorbs at 1740 cm inverse. Cyclobutanone absorbs at 1775 cm inverse, as well as cyclopropanone that absorbs at higher frequency, that is 1818 cm inverse. So as the ring strain in a cyclic ketone increases, the stretching frequency of the carbonyl group is also increases. So we can identify the size of the ring ketones according to their IR frequency. Then detection of the impurities. Suppose if we are buying some hydrocarbons from the industry, and if you check the IR spectrum, if in IR spectrum if we are getting the peak at 1720, it clearly indicates that there is a presence of some ketonic compounds into the hydrocarbon, because hydrocarbon won't have this strong peak at 1720. So absorption at 1720, it clearly indicates that the presence of ketone into the compound. For example, if you are buying acetone from the industry, and if you run the IR spectrum, and if you took this IR spectrum, if there is a peak at 3200 cm inverse to 3600 cm inverse, it clearly indicates that still OH is there. The impurity of isopropanol is there into the acetone. So we need to oxidize, or we need to dry this acetone over the potassium permanganate. Then only this alcohol can be converted into the ketone. So in this way, we can detect what are the impurities present into the compounds by using the IR spectroscopy. So these are the various applications of IR spectroscopy. First one is structure determination. Second one is study of progress of chemical reactions. Third one is presence of hydrogen bonding, either that's a intermolecular or intramolecular. Fourth one is determination of the size of ring ketones, and fifth one is the detection of impurities into the organic compounds. So these are the applications of IR spectroscopy. Now we will learn some problems, how these problems will be asked into the on IR spectroscopy chapter. So before starting the problems, so most of the problems answer should start with the how many sites of unsaturations are there. If you know the sites of unsaturation, then finding out the functional groups will be easier in case of NMR spectroscopy as well as in case of IR spectroscopy. So first step for solving the IR spectroscopic problem or NMR spectroscopic problem, the first step is always calculation of sites of unsaturation. Means how many double bonds are there, how many lack of hydrogens are there. So finding out the functional groups as well as structure of the molecule will be very easier. So first step is the sites of unsaturation. For example, we'll take a benzene, that is known one. So how to find out the sites of unsaturation? Molecular formula for benzene is C6H6. So number of hydrogen present into the molecule 6, that is given, right? If number of hydrogens required to be saturated compound, how many number of hydrogens are less? So as we know that saturated hydrocarbons, what is the molecular formula? CnH2n plus 2. This is the general molecular formula for the saturated hydrocarbon, that is CnH2n plus 2. So we know the carbon numbers into the molecules. So how many hydrogens are required? That we have to find out. So 6 carbons into our molecular formula. So 6 C6H. So put the N is equal to 6. So we will get 14. So 14 hydrogens are required for the saturated hydrocarbons. 14 hydrogens required for the saturated hydrocarbons. 6 carbons are there. So how many less hydrogens? Now we know the number of hydrogens present into the molecular formula and how many hydrogens required for the 6 carbons to become a saturated hydrocarbons. So in this way we can calculate the sites of unsaturation by following formula. Sites of unsaturation is equal to the hydrogens in a saturated hydrocarbons. So in the saturated hydrocarbons 14 hydrogens are there and hydrogens which are given into the molecular formula. So molecular formula given hydrogens are 6 divided by 2. So for hydrogens in the saturated hydrocarbons 14. For 6 carbons 14 hydrogens, then saturated hydrocarbon. And how many hydrogens are given into our molecular formula? That is 6. So 14 minus 6 divided by 2, that will be 8 upon 2, that will be 4. So 4 sites of unsaturation into the molecule. So this is the formula for determining the sites of unsaturation. Now what if the molecular formula contains nitrogen or oxygen or halogen? Then we have to slightly change the given molecular formula according to this table. So if molecular formula contains oxygen, then we have to neglect that oxygen. That oxygen won't affect on this calculation. If our molecular formula contains a nitrogen, then instead of nitrogen, we have to add 1 carbon and 1 hydrogen into the molecular formula. 1 carbon, 1 hydrogen into the molecular formula if nitrogen is there. Suppose our molecular formula is C5H5N. Then instead of N, we have to add 1 carbon and 1 hydrogen. Then molecular formula become C6H6. So in this way, if nitrogen is there, we have to add 1 carbon and 1 hydrogen for each nitrogen. If our molecular formula contains hydrogen, like bromine, chlorine, iodine or fluorine, then for each halogen we have to add 1 hydrogen into the molecular formula. म्हणजे हॅलोजनच्या ऐवजी एक हायड्रोजन कन्सिडर करायचा. So in this way we can calculate the sites of unsaturation. So what is the information we are getting from the sites of unsaturation? So if one site of unsaturation is there, then the compound may contain 1 double bond or 1 ring. So 1 ring is equivalent to the 1 site of unsaturation and 1 double bond is equivalent to the 1 site of unsaturation. If our compound contains 2 sites of unsaturation, then our compound might be contain 2 double bonds, 1 double bond, 1 ring or 2 rings. So in this way we are getting the information for the structure determination. 1 site of unsaturation is equivalent to the 1 ring and equivalent to the 1 double bond, 1 multiple bond, 1 pi bond. Suppose 3 sites of unsaturation are present in our compound, then there may be the 3 double bonds or 2 double bond 1 ring or 1 ring 2 double bonds. In this way, if 4 sites of unsaturation, so according to the above equations, like 1 double bond, 1 pi bond for 1 site of unsaturation and 1 ring is equivalent to the 1 site of unsaturation. mostly if more than 4 sites of unsaturations are there, compound might be contain a benzene ring. So one benzene ring is equivalent for 4 sites of unsaturation. See here, C6H6 is, as we know that this is the benzene. So there are 4 sites of unsaturation. Benzene, there are 3 pi bonds, so 3 sites of unsaturation, and benzene contains one ring, that is the 4th site of unsaturation. So if there are more than 4 sites of unsaturation, indicates the presence of benzene ring. 3 sites of unsaturation for 3 double bond and 1 is for the ring. So for solving the problems, first step is calculate how many sites of unsaturation. That is the first step. Then our structure determination will be very easier. Now we'll start a problem. Suppose this is the first problem. The organic compound having a molecular formula C3H6O and shows the absorption band at 1720 and 2720 centimeter inverse in its IR spectra. Find out the structural formula for the compound. Now our molecular formula is C3H6O and there are 2 IR frequencies are given, that is 1720 and 2720 centimeter inverse. Then first step is calculation of sites of unsaturation. First step is always sites of unsaturation. The molecular formula is C3H6. O should be neglected. आपण एक टेबल बघितलं बघा, त्याच्यात ऑक्सिजन निग्लेक्टेड. जर नायट्रोजन असेल तर एक कार्बन आणि एक हायड्रोजन ॲड करायचा. हॅलोजन असेल तर हॅलोजनच्या ऐवजी एक हायड्रोजन ॲड करायचा. सो इन दिस वे. So for molecular formula C3H6O is neglected. So molecular formula is C3H6. So carbon number 3. So how many hydrogens in a saturated compound? C3. That molecular formula we have to is CnH2n plus 2. So according to that, 2 hydrogens are less for the saturated compounds. 8 हायड्रोजन पाहिजे 3 कार्बन असतील तर, आणि आपल्याकडे किती आहेत 6. So 8 minus 6, 2. 2 divided by 2, 1. So there will be one site of unsaturation. So 2 hydrogens are less, that indicates for the one site of unsaturation. 2 हायड्रोजन कमी असेल तर 1 site of unsaturation. जर 4 हायड्रोजन कमी असेल तर 2 sites of unsaturation. So in this way. Now second step, as we know the sites of unsaturation, so we'll start with the IR frequency. What is the given? So first frequency is given around 1720 centimeter inverse. So IR absorption band at 1720 centimeter inverse indicates the presence of carbonyl group, that is CO double bond. Right. So 1720 indicates that carbonyl group. That may be aldehyde or may be ketone. That may be aldehyde or may be ketone. So we are close to our answer now. Now second IR value is given, that is IR absorption at 2720 centimeter inverse. Now this is due to CH stretching frequency of aldehydic CH. So there is not a ketone, there is a aldehyde, because the CH frequency of 27 to 20 centimeter inverse is for the aldehydic CH. So in this way we can assign the structure, that aldehyde group is always present at the end, and hence the structure must be like this, that is propanaldehyde. If you are getting the structure, then we have to write the proper IR frequency for the proper bond. So writing style should be like this, 1720, that carbonyl group. म्हणजे तुमच्या ह्या तुम्ही जर असं लिहित गेलं तर तुम्हाला कळेल की ही फ्रिक्वेन्सी या फंक्शन ग्रुपसाठी असते. So for that purpose writing must be clear, and this CH is absorbs at 2720 centimeter inverse. In this way we have to write the answer, and in this way we should progress towards the answer. So first step is the sites of unsaturation, and then start with each information from the spectroscopical data, and then conclude to the structure. Second problem, an organic compound having a molecular formula C3H6O. The IR bands at 3300 centimeter inverse, 1620, 990, 19 centimeter inverse, and find out the structure of the compound. Now first step is what? find out the sites of unsaturation. So by using that formula, the presence of one site of unsaturation, you need to practice for the sites of unsaturation. Okay, that is the main step. प्रत्येक वेळेस आपण तो फॉर्म्युला वापरायचा आणि साइट्स ऑफ अनसॅच्युरेशन कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे. So our compound may contain one ring, our compound may contains one double bond. That is the information you are getting from this sites of unsaturation, and we have to write like that. If one site of unsaturation, our compound may contains one double bond, that may be carbon-carbon double bond, carbon-oxygen double bond, and our compound may contains one ring. The IR absorption band at 3300 cm inverse indicates that a presence of NH, OH or triple bonded CH. As a compound does not contain nitrogen, so NH possibility is ruled out. So molecular formula doesn't contain a nitrogen, so NH possibility is not there. Similarly, compound contains only one site of unsaturation, so the possibility of triple bonded carbon hydrogen is also ruled out, because one triple bond is equal to the two sites of unsaturation, because there are two pi bonds. One pi bond is for one site of unsaturation. Triple bond contains two pi bonds. So there should be the two sites of unsaturation. But our compound contains only one site of unsaturation. So that this triple bonded CH, that is also ruled out. The IR absorption band at 1620 cm inverse indicates that the presence of carbon-carbon double bond into the compound. So 1620 to 1650, 60, that is the band for carbon-carbon double bond. So this clearly indicates that our compound contains a carbon-carbon double bond. The IR absorption band at 990 to 910, this is due to mono-substituted ethylene molecule. So from this 990 to 910 cm inverse, we are getting the information that our compound contains a terminal alkene, mono-substituted alkene, mono-substituted ethylene molecule. The two possible structures are possible from this information, that is propanol and enol. So this is absorbs near about 3300 cm inverse, this alcohol OH. Stretching frequency is around 3300 cm inverse, and this double bond, terminal double bond, mono-substituted double bond, that is absorbs at 1620 cm inverse, and terminal, that is mono-substituted ethylene, absorbed at 990 to 910 cm inverse. So these are the two possible compounds are there. This compound on tautomerism gives acetone. See here, this red, that is for carbon-carbon double bond, and blue, that is for oxygen-hydrogen single bond, hydroxyl group. So we have to mention this IR frequency. Third problem is the organic compound having a molecular formula C4H6 and shows a IR band at 3300 cm inverse and 2100 cm inverse. Find out the structure of the molecule. So there are two peaks, 3300 cm inverse and 2100 cm inverse. The molecular formula is C4H6. Now first step is the sites of unsaturation. If the molecular formula contains C4H6, by calculation the presence of two sites of unsaturation. Our compound contains two sites of unsaturation. It may be two rings, two double bonds, or one triple bond, or one double bond, one ring. So this is the information we are getting from these sites of unsaturation. The IR frequency band near about 3300 cm inverse, it clearly indicates that the presence of OH, NH or carbon-carbon triple bond H, that is CH frequency. As our molecular formula don't have oxygen and nitrogen, then this NH and OH possibilities are negligible, means not possible. So it clearly indicates that the presence of triple bonded CH is there. The third information is that the IR absorption band 2100 cm inverse, that is also clearly indicates that our compound contains carbon-carbon triple bond. So our compound contains a terminal alkyne. Why? Because terminal CH that absorbs at 3300 centimeter inverse, and carbon-carbon triple bond, it absorbs at 2100 centimeter inverse. So by these 3 points we conclude our structure. Therefore, alkyne must be the terminal having the following structural formula, like this: CH3, CH2, C triple bond, CH, and write the IR frequencies for the proper bond. So this terminal CH of the alkyne absorbs at 3300 centimeter inverse, while carbon-carbon triple bond is absorbed at 2100 centimeter inverse. So in this way we can find out the structure of the molecule. Fourth example is a compound shows a lambda max. So in terms of solving the problems, there may be the multiple spectra are given, like IR, NMR, UV visible spectrum. So in this case we have additional data from the UV visible spectroscopy, that is the compound having lambda max, that is 250 nanometer in UV spectrum, and IR bands at 990 to 910 centimeter inverse, and find out the correct structural formula for the compound. Molecular formula is given C4H6. So in this problem the extra data is provided, that is from the UV visible spectrum. The lambda max is 215 nanometer in case of UV spectrum. Now first step is find out the sites of unsaturation. The molecular formula is C4H6, that represents for the 2 sites of unsaturation. So it clearly indicates that there are 2 carbon-carbon double bond. The bands at 990 to 910 centimeter inverse, it clearly indicates that the mono substituted ethylene is there. So terminal alkene is there, mono substituted alkene is there, and from the first information, that is lambda max, that is 215 nanometer, indicates that the presence of conjugated diene. Presence of conjugated diene, that is the base value for diene, right? So from this information our structure must be diene like this: CH2CH, CH, CH2, because lambda max for basic diene, that is 250 nanometer. So the structure is basic diene. So this is the diene as a compound. So we had to mention the IR values: 1620 centimeter inverse for the carbon-carbon double bond, while 990 and 910 centimeter inverse are for the terminal ethylene molecules. So in this way we should approach towards the answer. First find out the sites of unsaturation, then write down what information you are getting from the sites of unsaturation. If site of unsaturation is 1, then it may be 1 ring or may be 1 double bond. 1 ring is equivalent to 1 site of unsaturation, 1 pi bond is equivalent to the 1 site of unsaturation. And then take the information which is given into the problem, take one by one and approach towards the answer. So this is how to solve the IR problems for the examination. Now second type of problems is there, like in what respect to the IR spectra of the following pairs of the organic compounds differs from each other. So 2 molecules are provided and we have to identify what is the difference in IR spectrum. So you should know the IR values for the functional group. For example, phenyl acetic acid and methyl benzoate. So if the problem like this, then you should know the structure of phenyl acetic acid and methyl benzoate also. So if names are provided, you should know the structure, that is the main thing. Then draw the structure. This is the phenyl acetic acid and this is the methyl benzoate. So this is the carboxylic acid and this is the ester. Then what is the difference in IR spectrum? So phenyl acetic acid contains a carbonyl group. This is also contain a carbonyl group, but this is acetic acid while this is ester. So what is the difference? So acetic acid absorbs at 1700 to 1725 centimeter inverse, while ester carbonyl group absorbs at 1735 to 1750 centimeter inverse. So acid absorbs slightly lower frequency, while carbonyl of the ester absorbs at slightly higher frequency. Then Phenyl acetic acid contains a OH bond, so that absorbs around 2500 centimeter inverse to 3600 centimeter inverse. That depends upon the hydrogen bonding. If hydrogen bonding is there, then 2500 centimeter inverse to 2500 centimeter inverse. If hydrogen bonding is not there, then it absorbs at 3500 centimeter inverse to 3600 centimeter inverse. So the broad range with or without hydrogen bonding, that is 2500 centimeter inverse to 3600 centimeter inverse. While that OH frequency is not observed into the methyl benzoate. So methyl benzoate has a carbon oxygen bond, that is an ether bond. So that absorbs at 1180 to 1300 centimeter inverse. So this is the difference we have to mention in the form of IR frequencies, probable IR frequencies for the particular bond stretching or vibrations. Stretching and bending vibrations. Second example is the benzyl alcohol and benzaldehyde. So the structures are benzyl alcohol and benzaldehyde. So there is a lot of difference in these two compounds. One is hydroxyl compound, one is aldehyde compound. So hydroxide, just we have seen that it absorbs at 2500 to 3600 centimeter inverse. Right. So 3200 centimeter inverse to 3600 centimeter inverse. While benzaldehyde, it contains a carbonyl group that absorbs near about aldehydic carbonyl group absorbs at 1720 centimeter inverse. But this is conjugated aldehydes, alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes. So it will slightly absorb less than 1720, that is 1700 centimeter inverse. So in this way, we should able to distinguish the two organic compounds by using their functional group IR spectrums. And with CH, it absorbs at 2700 to 2900 centimeter inverse, that aldehydic CH, that is not observed into this compound. This is special frequency, you should remember, that is 2700 to 2900 centimeter inverse, that is aldehydic CH. If metacresol or anisole, so first you should know the structure. So this is the metacresol and this is the anisole. So this is a phenol and this one is the ether. So the IR frequencies for OH, as we know as we have seen in last two problems, that is 30 to 3600 centimeter inverse. Well, this is CO, stretching frequencies around 1050 to 1270 centimeter inverse. Okay. Next is a paramethyl benzaldehyde and acetophenol. So draw the structure of paramethyl benzaldehyde and acetophenol. Now first compound contains a carbonyl, second also contains a carbonyl. First is aldehyde and second one is a ketone. So aldehyde absorbs at 1720 centimeter inverse, while ketone absorbs at 1710 centimeter inverse, but both are alpha beta unsaturated, so they slightly absorbs at lower frequency. So aldehyde alpha beta unsaturated, that absorbs at 1690, while ketone is also 1690. So near about same. Then what is the differentiation? So aldehydic CH absorbs at 2729 centimeter inverse. This is the main difference. In ketone, this frequency won't be observed. So this is the distinguished peak in between aldehyde and ketone. So we should know what are the distinguished characteristics peaks of the proper functional group, of the particular functional group in IR spectrum. So in this way, we can determine the structure of the molecules by using the IR spectroscopy. So these are the applications of IR spectroscopy. Thank you, friends.